Yep.
Pretty good, can't complain.
Tacos.
And hello, Tom.
What's that?
How's it going?
Hey, I bought lunch for you guys, so you might as well eat.
Lunch?
Oh, wait, Andrew's in there. Andrew bought it.
Wait, Andrew's in here. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Truly, we 9 plus 11,000 other people bought dinner
Yes.
this evening.
Yeah, we all paid for it. Don't worry.
Come on. I don't know.
It's on, it's going.
People late.
You guys see Mike Styles wish him happy birthday today.
Oh, it's his birthday today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was earlier this week.
Was it earlier this week? I thought it was today.
Oh, maybe it is. My memory stinks. Want to say happy birthday to me Friday?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you, Friday.
Yes. Yes.
Not too bad. Is she officially older than you? It's a couple days.
No,
No?
I graduated a year ahead of him, but he's older.
She's a lot smarter than you.
He got held back. No. I'm just kidding. Back then,
hey,
some went, some didn't. I mean, that was kind of like,
My birthday was like,
mhm. A lot of times they'd send girls, but not some boys.
we were missing Justin tonight. Is this
Taco
too recorded?
I'm not watching the speeder phase, right? Not watching the speeder phase, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm doing well, how about you? What's that? It's working. I think so.
Is the first meeting
So
you're
the-
gonna eat, watch the
I'm glad you responded. After so then I went back on the website.
now we need to
and
definitely
went-
talk into the
Okay,
mics.
if I went here, here, and here. Oh, and there's a little teeny thing that looks like, whatever, yeah. But then, does that mean then, when the next one comes up, this one is gone? Or is it still on YouTube? You just can't click a thing, you have to actually go to YouTube. and
I'll
look.
go to YouTube. and
Okay.
look on our channel.
Not that, I think it's that interesting, but, yeah.
We'll probably refine.
But
where
yeah, the
we
new
have
website is really
where we have
nice.
Well, where we have the information and stuff like that for
But I do like the new
Street.
website.
Yeah.
It's like anything else, takes some getting used to when you to dink around, but it seems much clearer than the old one.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock.
I was just waiting for Jeff and Glenn to get back, and then they're both here.
Got anything Andrew, for these?
Actually, both
Is
ones,
the
yeah.
work session and the city commission meeting gonna be one big package?
I'm sorry?
Are the work session meeting and the city commission meeting gonna be on YouTube as one big package?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna divvy it.
They don't get split up? Yeah.
I think that would,
We'll probably,
Could cost
I mean, we
some
can
people.
look at that. I mean, we
Yeah.
can stop and then restart a new one if we needed
Oh,
to.
I-
I think we may have done that during COVID and depending on the situation. I know we had to for closed sessions, because that was the other thing we talked about is how we would handle the video and for closed session purposes. because you'll need to go, you'll need to
It's almost
stop
like what it-
videoing during closed session
Right.
and come back for open session.
Right, you need to come back, right.
We don't have that tonight, right?
We do
No.
not.
That's good.
Unless everybody wants me to make Ken sweat, and then I tell him we are going into closed session.
Want to close session, test out recording ability.
Is Angel Vasquez about the same age as Robert Stump? You know?
I do not.
I know Robert Stump.
Age wasn't disclosed, one is 18, the other is 22.
Robert's 18.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Robert. I wasn't sure if I knew Angel, that's why I wondered, because they were like, I recall 3 high school guys, Angel, not, it wasn't really a popular name, that's why I wondered. Thank you.
Just on that,
We're ready for you, Jake?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with playgrounds, work session. Obviously, I guess, the start, you all have had copies of the playgrounds inspections that were done. You know, why did we complete this? I think most of you are aware had questions about and concerns about different elements and the condition of the elements, of playground equipment throughout the city. You know, hey, what can we do to make sure we're catching up with repairs and making sure things are going forward into the future. So as we wanted to get kind of a baseline for those improvements and the things that we wanted to keep an eye on with standards, as we were getting repairs done on some slides, we had the opportunity, because the group that came in to repair the slide was also certified playground inspectors, took the opportunity to do that and have them evaluate the city parks, so that we had that baseline for things going forward. Jake, you can talk a little bit about the certification that those individuals have, kind of what they're looking to, how they did the inspections and the standards that they're looking to.
Yeah, so everything's based off of ASTM standards, and the specific certification that they have and based our inspection off of is called CPSI. And in those CPSI, they look at platform, what's considered a platform height. 2 inch by 2 inch is considered a platform, which is kind of becoming an issue in some of our.
I grew up standing on those platforms,
Oh, yeah. So,
jumping
So-
on those platforms.
yeah. So, and then there's look at entrapment issues where, for like say a toddler, where a torso could pass through but a head could not. Some snag hazards, and just pointing out some
And I mean,
materials. So, moving forward into the parks.
well, Jake, I mean, I guess
Okay.
those CPSI and those ASTM standards that they look at, I mean, you got the book there, Jake.
Yeah.
Grab the booklet that we found. I mean, it's not a small grouping of standards. I mean, they look at everything from the depth of the mulch material, how close playground equipment is to other objects, all kinds of things that they consider the new standards for safety and things like that. I think it is important, because it's something that I talked to the city attorney about, was that those ASTM standards are not, it's not Michigan law that we have to go to that standard. That's a standard that is not only a safety standard. There's other reasons why we would want to meet those standards. I think those are the standards that we're going to be measuring ourselves against, but
liability, maybe?
potentially that would be one thing. We did also talk to our insurance group, and kind of the impact of these standards and kind of the things that we want to be, addressing immediately, things that may be able to be addressed kind of in the future, those types of things, or that are, more of a, we'll call it quote unquote grandfathering, or something that if it was installed properly at the time it was installed, it's not something you need to rush to change or replace. But if there's a definite hazard or something there, then those are things that we would try and address. So we're obviously factoring all that in as we look at addressing the things that were identified in the report. So I guess, Jake, without further ado, you can move on to kind of go over some of the inspection stuff and where our progress is to date and things going forward, at least on a few of the parks.
Yep. So for Langrick, we made pretty good progress. A lot of this in yellow here, we're waiting for mulch. We already had one wave of mulch come in for fall protection. Basically, you need about 1.5 feet, 15 inches of fall protection. We've already had one wave of mulch put in, went back out, remeasured. We still need more, so we're looking at doing another wave. And that's through all the parks, not just Langrick. But there's a few things we've completed. The age of use stickers, for Langrick specifically, that playground manufacturer is not in business anymore. So my recommendation that I had through Jeremy Bossman, who is a rep for this area, more or less suggested we put signage up instead of the stickers because we can't obtain the stickers. And all the stickers are specific to whatever piece of equipment you have installed. So one manufacturer can't supply a sticker for another manufacturer. So
Do you want to just describe what those stickers are and what
so
they
it's
talk
age
to?
of use stickers. Each piece of equipment is supposed to have these stickers on there to identify whether it's for toddler, preschool age, grade school, recommendations, age, and all that. So,
They used to have signs at the playgrounds with that information, which for some reason disappeared.
Well, they're going to be replaced with new ones now. So,
So stickers, yeah.
well, now there'll be what Jake's talking
at
about
Langrick, there'll
is-
be signage.
Yeah.
The other parks will be replaced with stickers because they're still.
So the
Around.
standard is all the equipment's supposed to have a sticker on it, but that has to be supplied by the actual the manufacturer. And since we can't get a hold of a manufacturer that's out of business to get a sticker, our fix, I guess, is to put the signage.
Put a sign. And that is a requirement too, but that was not a requirement at the install.
Right, and that's the thing. A lot of these things, they change over time.
Right.
So, they're calling out things that may be new. The 2-inch by 2-inch platform
That was
rule,
a new
I think, is.
standard in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so, that changes the game for a lot of things. I think,
Puts a lot of pressure on the wood-built structures.
right.
Right. You said we have who's the representative now for the area?
Sorry, what?
Representative, you said you talked to our rep?
He's from Sinclair, Game Time, so Jeremy.
Time?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him.
So after Friday, Kathy, you can't use the playground anymore since it's your birthday.
No comment.
So moving over to Frank's.
Before you get done with Langrick, do you want to touch on the merry-go-round? I know that was
Oh,
another one
yeah.
of the.
So merry-go-round at Langrick and Memorial, and I'll cover both of them right now. They both have been removed currently. They need new bearings placed in that. They both have vertical play. Vertical play is not allowed per the CPSI. So we have them removed, gonna get new bearings on the way and get those back into service as soon as possible.
Is it a safety hazard because the bearings are bad?
It's something that it's called out in the CPSI handbook, and that got flagged on our inspection done by M&E.
So it's vertical play, is that the
Up and
actual
down.
structure can move up and down, and that's what they flagged.
They called out both of them, so we're gonna replace
I
the
just don't
bearings.
think someone get hurt because the wobble, but
Yeah,
I know, rules are rules.
so. Frank's Park, we've got a lot completed, kind of hit the low-hanging fruit on that, so to speak. A lot of this is going to get corrected with mulch. One of the issues we're looking to kind of resolve is the distance. You need at least 6 feet from the edge of a piece of equipment to any hard surface, you need at least 6 feet of protective surfacing. So 72 inches, we're looking to increase the fall protection. Currently trying to find something that would either gain that fall protection, or we're gonna be looking at widening those play areas, but eventually.
Yeah, so that, again, that's one of the things that, you know, we talked about. If it was installed in the past in a way that was considered safe at the time, you know, probably not as critical, but, you know, when we're dealing with placement of playground equipment, you're talking about either like adjusting curbing, taking out curbing,
Right.
and placing in new curbing, or removing pieces of the structure. So, you know, I think we're gonna try and evaluate that, keep an eye. If there's a way we can do it without making major changes, we'll do that. If there's a way we can work towards that, you know, we'll try and work towards.
What was
meeting those
suggested to
standards.
me was putting up rubber pads down over
That's
the
gonna be my
curbs.
question.
Yeah.
And I brought that up to Game Time, and they basically said that that's not really doable, because that surface, that rubber pad, say you put them underneath the slides or the swing sets, is the rubber pad is accounting for the depth of the mulch that it's sitting on as part of the shock absorption.
I mean, Jake, I guess for new construction, rubber padding for the entire surface, and I guess Congress Elementary is one
Yeah.
playground that I can think of that is relatively new, that's the norm they plan for the playground. And I kind of go back and forth, which is better, why? Does
So-
the
so
standards
new
address that?
construction,
So that'd
new
be
construction,
forward,
kind of a
it's
whole
ADA
different animal.
compliant, too.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
That part was
it's
ADA.
not only the fall protection, but it's
Is it-
also
is it
the
the
ADA
mulch too?
accessibility
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
So, you know, obviously easier to get a wheelchair or something on that rubber surface than trying to push through even a identified mulch surface, you know.
And I'm
that's
not
considered-
saying it's feasible to rehab, hey, let's resurface all our current playgrounds, but I'm talking, I guess, when we build new, is the plan
That's
to
absolutely,
go with that?
that's absolutely the plan. So
Okay,
that's
okay,
been the plan.
okay.
If you look at our Parks and Recreation Master Plan that we've completed recently, within the last several years, that was part of the push, is that all new playgrounds would have that ADA surfacing included. So, you know, our goal is any new playground that gets put in, or any rehabbed playground with new equipment, we would be going
We'd be
out for
doing
that,
that route.
for that surface and budgeting for that, yeah.
Because I know that's probably costly, but then you're not mulching every so often, so I think, well, one, we know it's a benefit as far as the material, but I would love to know the cost breakdown too, but it's probably saving mulching over, depends on how many years.
Yeah, I mean, it would
I looked
depend
at-
on the life of the, I mean, Jake, you've
I
done a
looked
little
into it
bit.
into the spring, and off the top of my head, going back, it's roughly around $22 to $25 a square foot.
To go the rubber?
Go pour in place, like what the school has.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, mulch goes by the yardage. It's right around $30 a yard.
And how often do you end up remulching it?
The recommendation's yearly. So,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
that adds up. Did you do the math on 15 inches deep and what?
We have.
We have. I actually brought it right down from the people who were looking to purchase mulch from Superior Ground Cover, and I brought him in because I want to make sure we're getting the right amount. We weren't going to go through this rodeo again. So
Well, actually, it's not called mulch, it's EWF. It's engineered wood fiber. And it's,
Gotta have special stuff.
it's regulated. You can't just have mulch because more nodules in it.
Oh,
The engineered wood fiber is
it's got to be the
basically
spec.
about 2 inches. It's hardwood. There's a lot of specification regulations for that product. And there's certain places that you can buy it from, it has to be approved.
So we can't just have tree guys dump their loads in
No.
different parts?
No.
Fortunately not.
Yeah, I can't go to Lone Spruce either and have them load us up. So.
Jake, what about the rubber mulch?
You want to know pricing or?
No, is that doable for?
It is.
parks?
So the pricing is what's going to hit us there
Oh,
on that
okay.
one. That's about $255 a year,
Oh,
a
wow,
yard.
okay, okay.
Because Memorial Park is rubber. So we ran the numbers, looking at that to replace that and put wood in, and right now, just in the scheme of things, it'd be more beneficial to top that off with rubber as we sit right now, instead of pull it all out and put wood in.
Okay.
We did look at,
Okay.
we did look at pulling it all out and putting in
Oh, you
wood,
did?
but that's not. gonna
But to
be
get that level up to
cost-effective.
9 to 12 inches, which is what's recommended, is over 10
Pretty
grand.
salty.
How many have been to the park at Memorial Park and seen the mulch? Been by it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very-
Well, it ends up going all
Well,
over
yeah,
the
it's
place.
thrown all over.
Rubber
It's-
pieces?
it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
Yeah.
biodegradable. It's hot.
Bad enough downtown.
It's almost where your skin hot. and so-
Oh, it's very hot, yeah.
And it also releases toxins.
We won't be using that as a surplus again.
That was, well, I warned the former city manager not to use it, but he knew better.
So moving forward with Memorial Park here, again, got the merry-go-round pulled out, looking to replace bearings. A lot of this will get covered with, it'll be fixed with mulch. All the rusted hardware will be prepped and painted, and if that isn't the case, it'll be replaced. And that's for all the parks as well. Some of these, like the orange mushroom stepping stool, I'm gonna go back out and remeasure those because it's really close on measurement. I wanna just verify for myself that this is an actual issue and that the measurement is correct. I found at Langrick that some of the hand railings there were measured, and he called out of spec, and I went and remeasured, and they were in spec by an inch or two. So I'm gonna double check and make sure.
So because your creates an inch off, that's a violation.
So, yes. So with what he said is, hey, this is his license. If he doesn't call it out and
I know.
something happens and somebody comes on the city and we
There's a
turn
problem
back
when
on.
government oversteps, but that's neither here nor there.
So, and then we didn't have a report done on Oaklawn Park, figuring that was the newest park. We're going to take what we learned from these four and apply it ourselves. And moving forward with the SPI standard, it has a checklist in the back. It has routine monthly and weekly, daily maintenance that we need to look at. We're going to apply that, make sure everything's in operating standard. We've already gone through, looked at hardware. Everything's in good shape. Nothing's delaminating. Nothing's falling apart. So the only thing that needs done there is mulch. We're going to bring it up again. So. And the big topic, Trojan timbers.
Yeah, so,
When are we gonna knock that down and start over?
well, our city staff's recommendation is 2027. So if you recall
2027?
through the budget process, you know, we've had that as one of kind of three major projects that we were contemplating. Next, the original game plan was to do a community survey, kind of understand which one they wanted us to tackle first, and then tackle that one first. I think based on this report, what we're seeing, some of the new specs, and how much it would take to get this back to what I would consider top shape, Trojan Timbers, that our recommendation is going to be moving forward with that project as the first of those major projects. And, you know, it also is take care of what we have before we add another asset into the community. Timeline-wise, I think we're still looking at spring of '27, based on the kinds of grants and fundraising that we need to be able to do a project of this size. We're gonna need all of '26 to get us there. I mean, just looking at the Recreation Passport Grant through the state of Michigan, which is one of the sources we use, they have an application process that starts in April, so you have to have everything in by April to apply for it. They don't award it until December of that year. It's a whole year long before you get the go on it. So between design, fundraising, grant applications, all those pieces, that would be our recommendation. So it would be playground with the ADA surfacing, the new playground equipment, all those things. Try and use a similar footprint to the existing Trojan Timbers. I think we'd also be looking to at least preserve some of the elements of the Trojan Timbers, non-play elements like the entrance structure and things like that to leave kind of a community connection to that as it was a pretty big community project.
And no wood.
And no wood, that's correct. So, and again, the current ASTM standards, they don't want you using that material at all for anchoring into play equipment and things like that, as you probably saw in the report. You know, our goal there, and I'll let Jake kind of talk through, is really one, get it to a condition that's, you know, catch the low-hanging fruit. We've already done a couple of those things where there were, you know, nails that maybe popped up or screws, things like that. That's already been looked at. There was one play element that just needed to be completely removed and the exit to that play section boarded up. There'll be a couple structures and pieces of the playground equipment that just need to be completely removed at this point. That one that we already addressed was one because it leads down to another area that they said you should probably remove this. It's a tripping hazard.
You remember back to 2019 when the branch fell in there and knocked out a few pieces of equipment. This is tailing into that. There are some pieces of equipment that were hazardous and we're still looking to remove further, but that web netting going up has been removed because there's missing links and it wasn't safe. So that has been removed. The railings going to it have been taken down, and the entrance, exit, whatever you want to call it, has been boarded up as well. The platform to that is going to be removed in the future, and along with some other elements in that area. All the web netting we're looking to remove and take down because of how they were assembled. They were just put together with bolts and, I mean, just hardware that at this point, looking through the CPSI standard, is considered not safe. They're snag hazards, and that's why they're coming down, and the entrances are going to be boarded up. Gonna look for solutions, compliant products to use in the meantime for those areas for the web netting, but finding exact dimensions might be a struggle. So for the time being, it's going to be boarded up. Structures still be able to be played on. But, getting into the report, the section that I have marked in orange here, that is the structure outside of Trojan Timbers. That small one. And
Ken, do you want to bring up the GIS for that area just so we can kind of make sure everybody's familiar with what we're talking about from a geographic standpoint? So you can see the main structure there. There's a play area to the south of that, up
almost
near
directly south. So that play area is primarily built out of 4x4s, and it going off of the 2-inch by 2-inch standard, the whole entire area is accessible and is considered a platform. Along with that, I have on here, under no, it's recommended to retire the park or that specific area because of 2x2 platforms, lack of handrails, the rotting cracked timbers, and then out of compliance tire swing and sliding pole. Pretty much every feature on that playground was called out in the inspection report, one way or another.
This 4x4 post being a 2x2 platform, you can fix that with a chainsaw in just a matter of seconds. Yeah, just angle the damn thing so.
So angled surfaces are still considered a platform. They can still crawl up. The only way that, per the rules, we're going to get around it is dome them, round them.
You could have done with chainsaw, especially if it's dull on one side.
Now we need a chainsaw artist.
Yeah, man. So we have been looking into, because, I mean, Trojan Timbers itself is built out of telephone poles and 2x4s and 4x4s. So this is going to be an ongoing issue on the stance of platforms and fall protection, because that whole outside fence is considered a platform per the rules.
I've walked on that fence.
There you go.
Let's see
But
it again.
looking to mitigate all these issues the best we can going forward. There's some that we aren't going to be able to mitigate as well as others, but we're going to try and find solutions for them. For an example, the telephone poles, we're going to look to try and find something we can place the dome on, so at least the low accessible ones aren't considered platforms at that point. We haven't really gone forward a whole lot on this. We wanted to get here and talk to you guys and get a little bit of input. But moving forward, we're looking to take down all the web netting, replacing all the soft boards. We're gonna fix everything that we can reasonably fix without spending a fortune, but we're gonna invest into it as well. One of the more larger concerns is, pointed out in the CPSI standard, is we're not supposed to build parts of composite materials. Well, Trojan Timbers is 100% a composite material. It's made of wood. I guess the big issue with that is the swing sets. And those are the biggest issue, as in for safety, being built out of composite material. Looking at them, making sure they are in good condition. We're going to be going through, making sure nothing's cracked or broken, and if they are, we're going to replace it. And if it requires a large, if it's more than just a day or two, we're going to take it out of commission, take the swings down, and look at rebuilding or other possible options.
So I think one of the other things to know is, I know there's certain areas, particularly in this playground, when we talk about needing to take things out of commission, or, for example, the entrance, you saw there were collapsed boards making it difficult to enter the structure. We're gonna be taking the playground out of service for a period of time so Jake's crews can get in there and effect repairs.
We'd like to take it out next week and keep it closed for about 2 weeks so we can get adequate time in to do repairs.
So,
And,
yeah.
and I'm hoping, I'm hoping 2 weeks will be enough time for us to be able to get in there and do everything we can and get everything buttoned up the way it should be.
I was just thinking, wasn't Trojan Timbers, or at least part of it, built by volunteers?
Yeah.
I was there.
I was there doing it.
There was a ton of people.
There was
There was a lot of community support.
Kids,
These,
teenagers, adults.
I hope we can do that again. Get community involvement.
Can't do it. You gotta do that.
I mean, what I would say
Not the big
is,
stuff, but minor stuff.
what I would say moving forward, you know, if we're looking at a new project, a new playground, it's not assembled like these are anymore.
Oh, okay,
You're not
okay.
gonna have community involvement, it's gonna be contractors that are
Contractors,
putting
okay.
it in. You know, I mean, I think where our community involvement realistically is gonna come in is in the fundraising, much like it was for the splash pad, right?
Okay.
And, you know, generating the community support in that way, shape, and form.
Gotcha.
You know, I mean, I think there's some things that we can always do to get creative, whether it's you know, they did like a brick path in the entrance for those who support it, or things like that. I mean, you could do some things around the playground, I guess, like painting a mural or something, if there was an opportunity to do something like that. But I think by and large, it's gonna be as we're seeing with these ASTM standards, it's no longer everybody dig in and get some used stuff and put it together and you can have a playground like it used to be. They're looking at different things now, so.
I just know, one of the first things that we did when we first moved up here to Sturgis was help with that, and that was kind of cool to show the kids as they grew up, hey, you know, Daddy helped build this little piece here.
Well, I still remember we had a very similar project in Manistee when I was growing up, and I remember being on the development team. You know, you were in school and you had to go draw with, hey, what do you want the playground to look like? And so you drew with I still remember it to this day. So, you know, it was definitely a thing back in the day.
Back then,
You know,
yep, back in the
a lot
day,
of
yeah.
communities did this. So.
So you're thinking we would do a community campaign, like starting in the spring?
I would say.
I
yeah.
wasn't involved.
Yeah, I mean, I
This-
think
this
that
coming
would be-
spring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 26.
26 to get ready for
Spring of
27.
26, yeah.
That's not
So,
Yeah, it's not far away.
so, I mean, you're gonna, you're gonna be ramping up,
Getting on.
because you're gonna need to start doing some at least preliminary planning to get ready to apply for the Recreation Passport Grant in April. And then you'll be doing fundraising throughout 26, final design, if there's input, we've done input for the community on previous playground projects, haven't we, Rick? We can do that, do that again this time, and, kind of get a sense, because, I think the other thing that's hard with this particular playground is it does have so many community ties and so many community memories in terms of how it got started, people that built it, all those types of things. So I think, to me, that's why trying to at least keep some non-play structure elements as important as a tie for
Well,
that.
it's a
for people.
consistent draw for people. That's
Sure.
what I've noticed. Anytime I have to, I mean, the kids get out of the car and they're just running like crazy to get to it. I was just looking quickly on my phone to see who still has these. There's still a lot in the Detroit area, because they had a report as of June of '25 where you could find these structures. But they're in areas that maybe maintain them differently, do whatever. And they were talking about, the kids like the idea of being able to crawl into places adults can't fit into, which is what adults don't like because they can't see their kids. And then they said, and Germany is trying to even do playgrounds that are even briskier for kids because they feel they should be challenged to jump and do these different things. So it's kind of a, we all can think back about, well, except some of the younger ones, our child, where, you had, you burned your bottom on the slides and you hung by your, knees on them and whatever, and all these things.
It was still around in the 1980s.
Every time I look at a swing, I said, where's the flat part so I can stand up and try to get myself up and over, because you could pump really hard and do that. And kids can't do that anymore. And it's really kind of sad in some ways, but, I didn't look to see what are they replacing these with, because a lot of them have disappeared. Bronson used to have something.
They still do.
Do they still have something? Colin's disappeared. I know they have one out that was outside of, near Grand Ledge or whatever, had one. It's gone. I don't know what they replaced it with, but you can't go back to what a bigger Langrick Park one won't do it for the kids.
Yeah, I think.
Because it's too open, you don't get that excitement of being in a place where you,
Well, and I think
Getting
those are the
against- yeah,
things that,
yeah.
as we get into the design of the replacement, what play structures they have, what
Right.
kinds of things are
because
available.
I know there've been some communities that have gotten those, they're up for those awards each year when you go to the convention,
To the
that
convention.
have done, I know there've been a couple that
A couple of them, yeah.
were playgrounds, which were
Oh, yeah.
extensive, which would be something to look at. They're out there. How do you kid test it?
They're 2 stories high.
Hmm?
We got playgrounds that have towers that are 2 stories high.
Yeah.
2-3 store.
Delta
But it has
Park
slides
is
coming
huge.
down and
Yeah.
all kinds of
So-
stuff,
Magnet for
but-
kids down in
Yeah.
Indiana.
I mean, you look at
But again,
even
they're
Wall
gonna cost
School,
more.
Wall School's new playground
Yeah.
that the school put in there, they've got towers that are 2 or
Mhm,
3 stories
yeah.
tall. I mean, you can find the equipment to make it fun and interesting, and I think that's gonna be part of what the
Yeah.
conversation is. What do you want this one to be? And what do you want it to look like? And what do you want it to be?
You could have a big bonfire. I'm just.
That happened in Montego.
It just
Yeah,
happened.
That
in
was
Montego,
just, I
yes.
know, that's what made me think of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But a controlled,
Firefighter training.
ugh.
So, any other questions or?
Yeah, well, I've got some. So, when we got the CTSI, right, inspector, why did we get one from Sioux City, Iowa, from the?
Because he is the one that we reached out to do some repairs over at Langrick. There are some cracks in some of the slides and other structures at Frank's Park as well.
Well, they did that the first time and then they came back.
It was all in one go. So they went and did the repairs, and then we added on the inspections. And once they were done with the repairs, they did the inspections, and then they left.
Oh, okay.
So it's all in one suite, one company.
No, because the bills were separated by month, so I don't know why there were two separate bills like that.
And I thought it was a little bit pricey too. Why didn't we look around the state of Michigan for somebody to repair the slide?
At the time, that's the only people we had found that offered this repair for plastic welding.
That's odd.
Um,
Because
but,
I looked went through and typed in plastic repair, plastic slide repair, and there's quite a few in Michigan.
and they were certified for playgrounds?
Yeah. Also for the certification for CPSI, state of Michigan also has certified playground inspectors that are available that we could hire. They might be a little bit cheaper than having to come from Iowa. Price range to inspect playgrounds is between $200 and $400 a playground, depending on the size of the playground. Also, another option would have been to maybe send one of our employees to become the CPSI in the state of Michigan, because they can do that between $500 and $700 for a 2-day course in certification, which is good for 3 years.
We
And then-
intend to do that. As a matter of fact, we've talked about doing that with our employees going forward.
Are we members of MPART? You know, we used to be.
It has gotten brought up. I don't know if we're currently a part of it. I know we're looking to join it.
Okay. Well, maybe we could join the membership, because then the cost for a CPSI training is $595. So that would be quite a savings rather than spending $800 to go to Iowa to get someone to come and repair the slide and someone to inspect parts. In a sense, we're going to need an inspector going forward. I think would be a very large saving to the city and taxpayers if we could have somebody in-house to be trained in that.
Good idea.
That
Agreed
is
with
exactly
that.
what we're looking into. So.
We hired these guys out because they're already here doing the repairs. We wanted it done now. The 3 full-timers at the Parks and Cemetery haven't had very much of a background prior, or any of a background prior to working here in the parks. Moving forward, we wanted to make sure that we got an outside source, an unbiased opinion to do these park inspections. And moving forward, we're looking to have somebody or multiple people CPSI certified, so you can
Yes.
maintain and continue these compliances.
I appreciate that, but I think that everyone's got one of these nowadays. I mean, back when I first started, we didn't have these, but you can just type something in and find it. And I think, number one, we should be spending money in Michigan. Plus, it would be cheaper. I'm sure that there's a lot of costs having someone come in from Iowa. Again, I looked up repair of a plastic slide, and they said costs run anywhere from $200 to $800, depending on the damage.
Commissioner Burr, I'm going to answer that. Being overseeing the parks, not knowing what we didn't know, and M&E was in an inbox, and I wanted to take immediate actions, so I reached out to them. I was the one that called them in to repair the slides, and when they were in-house, got in on site, all the other, the inspection, all that just surfaced, and we're like, let's get it done so we can have a baseline. And moving forward, that is the direction we are heading. Getting internal staff certified using Michigan-based. Just because he's out of Iowa, he travels Michigan, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, so several other places. So when he was in Michigan, we didn't pay a premium because he was already going through to another job. Actually, he was headed back from another job. So it just, the timing was perfect for us, for him, to have him come in and do this and give us an unbiased report. But moving forward, that is our entire intentions, is get something in-house, be on top of these parks, and just make it a community. It's not that we weren't, it was just an immediate, I wanted immediate actions, and
Well, that was
immediate
the-
results.
That was the consensus that was initiated by Commissioner Evans,
I-
that we all said
It's true.
as part of the budget planning process. So they're doing what we asked collectively.
I mean,
Good job.
it's not that we didn't, it happened, he showed up in an inbox that I had been monitoring from a previous supervisor. I reached out, he was coming back from another job, and it just all lined up, and we got what we needed. Equipment fixed, a report to give us a baseline of where we needed to go and where we were and where we needed to go. So, did we spend a little extra?
Definitely.
We did, and we know moving forward what we have to do to get certified so we can keep those costs down. But this was a one-time expense, just so I had an unbiased inspection report to move forward on.
Again, I hope the staff starts practicing financial responsibility for taxpayers' dollars. And sometimes haste makes waste. And
We asked for
looking
haste.
at the prices that I looked up, we could have saved $4,000 if we first looked to the state of Michigan and said, oh, well, we can get this slide fixed here for $1,000, or we can get our inspection done for $1,000 or $2,000, whatever. And the dollars would have been spent in Michigan.
This commission's consensus was haste. Those Commissioner Ebb's words that I remember, you wanted this done quickly, right? You wanted this
It was
done?
unsafe.
Yeah.
And we had too many places that were
That's what we
unsafe.
talked about.
It is true. I said, I wouldn't take my granddaughter there, if I remember correctly, and said, Andrew, you won't take your children there.
I think we asked for Andrew
It's true.
to get this done in a quick manner. So we were the ones who asked for
It wasn't
haste.
really done in a quick manner, but yeah. And that's not on.
You said haste.
That's not on these young. Because I took the city manager around almost a year ago in September and showed him these problems. Not all of them. I'm not a CPSI inspector, but just like the mulch was low, just like the reports for the playgrounds, it was kicked out from underneath the swings, the slides were unsafe, it was a public safety issue, and it wasn't handled, it wasn't addressed, nothing was done until Mr. Sikorsky went through the process to get it done. And that was in July?
I've had a lot of sleep and a lot of things have happened
July or
since
August, whatever. But anyway,
this has taken place,
I
but
think though too, Rick, that I don't think we would be here right now discussing this if it wasn't for you taking the initiative to bring this to commissioners, to the city manager, and now we're finally here trying to move on what we need to do to get our parks.
I mean, we're trying
get
to
our
move
parks up
forward
to standards.
and get direction from commission. I mean, we're not gonna waste, the budgets don't allow for us to, we have to be diligent in what we do, and that's what we're trying to do without completely removing playground equipment and playgrounds for the community. So that is why, we're here really for Trojan Timbers, because based on the reports, it should be condemned.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I do,
So we're trying to do our best to keep it in service until we've already defined it as our project in 2027. And Jake and I in the city man, So the city manager, we're looking at this and making sure every move is the right move with the public's interest in mind. So we don't close the park. So we don't get a phone call from the public that there was an injury at one of these. I mean, that's why the miracle rounds were removed, to replace those bearings, so based on the inspection, and then we're in compliance.
And I understand too, it wasn't under your watch that the playgrounds fell apart, and I've mentioned that to both of you before. I don't hold you responsible for that. That was just neglect over the years.
And we're trying to do the best, given what we have within the means of getting the repairs done safely, efficiently, and cost effectively.
I would.
It's gonna take time. I mean, this didn't happen overnight. We have the baseline, we know what we need to do, we have directions moving forward. Like it was mentioned earlier, we're taking care of the low-hanging fruit, and then we're gonna have to circle the wagons and come back to Trojan Timbers and make it a community effort.
Well, one thing I think you need to do is address the safety issues first, which I know you did by pulling the stuff out of Trojan Timbers, but still have not taken and filled underneath the swings, which is a safety hazard too for young children falling off of there because it's been kicked out so low, and you need to put that material that's been kicked out back in, and of course you already know you need to put more mulch in there anyway, because the mulch you put in there was only about an inch thick, just enough to cover the mulch that was in there. And there again, for the engineered wood fiber, 6 inches is required for fall for less than 10 feet, falls from less than 10 feet, 8 inches for falls up 10 feet, 10 inches for fall up to 12 feet, and 12 inches for falls up to 14 feet. And I don't think we have any slides up to 14 feet, but those are requirements for the engineered wood fiber. And I think these things have to be done first, and then, like you say, we have to piecemeal as best you can to replace things that need to be done, especially to the one that's no longer in business.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, to be honest, I think this is a perfect example. There's another topic that I brought up about cost cutting. But the truth is, I think it falls back on us as a commission in its entirety. The fact is, yes, you talked to Andrew back in September, October, took around. I bring it up. I think we can do a better job than what we are, speaking to exactly what the expectation is. I'm not faulting anyone. I don't mean that. I'm just saying I think we could do a better job. I heard your frustration because it went months not being taken care of. It got brought up. You're being put on the hook time-wise. It's like, get it done. So I understand that was the direction from the commission, get it done, I think, and not just for myself. I think we all agreed. So the truth is, probably we can see how maybe we as a commission can do better. What our expectations are.
I'm going to piggyback on you because I'm a firm believer that, yes, we can do better. I think this is a perfect opportunity because Jacob just mentioned that him and his staff are fairly new. I think this is an opportunity where we have give Andrew direction to come up with a standard operating procedure for our parks, to work in conjunction with Jake so that our parks don't get to this level, so that Jake and his team, either like on Mondays, are out inspecting the grills, make sure that they're cleaned up and they're still there. Maybe they do it again on Friday. But you have someone on your team going in and checking once a week based on the SOP that you and your team work with Andrew, And that should be one of Andrew's goals, to have an SOP, that gets done before the next park season, before next spring, so that we're not getting calls that the parks are in bad shape, that the ashes haven't been removed and whatnot. But I think this is an opportunity to make things better. And like you said, Kathy, we can do better. And if we have some type of goal for Andrew to come up with an SOP to work with Jake, or Jake to have a SOP before the next park season, I think would be great.
Jake, do you want to speak to that?
So moving forward, that's something I want to look at, not just in the whole parks, but as the parks and cemetery in its entirety. It is something I've been looking into, and I'm gonna write multiple standard operating procedures, not only
That's
for
great to hear.
the park maintenance, but all the way down to taking care of the shelters on the weekends. Just a baseline for everything: trash route, mowing. What's the expectations? What do we want? What do we want to see? What do we want you to take care of?
So-
Everything from the nitty gritty to the self-explanatory stuff.
So given
That would be great.
the concerns that had been brought forward by commission and what we'd seen so far, these were already discussions that we'd had. Jake's already beginning to implement and working through, including playground checklist and the ASTM standards, looking to get individuals trained. These are all pathways that we're already exploring.
Maybe there's something you can put on your goals for next couple months when we reset.
Sure.
Yeah,
But I am looking
thank you
into
for that.
getting individuals CPSI certified, and I'm currently looking in, seeing where they can do testing, how much it's gonna cost. Burr already pointed out some of the pricing on that, and yeah, we're just looking to move forward and keep it in-house and invest in our people.
Yeah. Anybody else have further questions?
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. And you did present to us what we asked you to present tonight, and have already, I mean, everything we talked about is basically in this, but you're showing what you,
Yep.
what's found, what you've done, and what you plan to do with what else is coming, right?
Yep, and we're gonna,
So, I just think that you guys have done what you have been asked to do, and I want to say that I appreciate it. And I think that we could have asked you to do it standing on your hands, using your feet as, you know, for the tools, and you would have come back in here having the report done just as well, and there would still been some complaints no matter what you do. So, keep up the good work.
thank you. And moving forward, we're gonna be as transparent as we can, keeping this list updated, keep you guys informed on where we're at, what we're doing. Whether that's waiting on quotes or waiting on parts to be shipped to us. So,
Unrelated, if you have a question, it's not related to parks or cemetery, but I notice you're pulling plants downtown behind wings and stuff. Pulling plants already?
yeah, I'm getting ready for fall, getting mums in.
Why not? Is there a reason why you don't wait till if they frost and they start to die before you pull them?
Just trying to get a head start.
I mean, they look beautiful and, you know, in great shape, so I just wondered why you're pulling them so early. There's usually, when I worked at Parks and Cemetery, we didn't start pulling plants till October 15th. That's when we usually got a frost date around there, and then started dying back and pulling them. But still had time to clean up before the leaves got. Just asking this question.
Yeah, just moving forward with all that we have behind, you know, we got foundations coming in with this added park repairs. We're just trying to make sure we're staying on top of what we need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what it's all about.
Any other questions?
Andrew, did I hear you right at the beginning of this, that these were, what do I want to say? Standards, they weren't laws, that we complied with
Correct.
this? Yeah, this is definitely a case of basic overregulation. That's all I gotta say. The vast majority of this is silly. 2 threads on a bolt, using a flat washer instead of curved washer, a little bit of rust in the corners, not quite enough mulch. Yeah, this is, the vast majority of it is silly. There are some issues, but not most of it.
I'm not gonna disagree. A lot of these standards were put in place because kids were injured.
Well, if the
One
kid don't
thing or
break his
another.
arm every once in a while, he's not gonna learn that you don't do that. And he's gonna end up breaking his neck when he gets older.
Sue happy. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming out tonight, Jake.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Bathroom break before we start.
If it's not like a bonus.
Okay.
Not yet, it can't be, I plan to do so before we get to the conference.
Well, how are you, buddy?
Thank you.
There you go, yeah, there's always been one vacant.
That's
I
right.
don't even pay attention to. The ever elusive assistant city manager will one day sit there.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a problem.
Ah,
5 to 7:30?
Okay.
Okay. Then what happens when after? And the 15th Monday.
They were talking about volunteers helping clean up front and timber. Is there any reason,
there-
volunteers could help with some of the playground stuff?
happy birthday.
Organized volunteers.
Oh,
Tomorrow, right? Today.
Things like
Today. Happy birthday. 46. 46.
Yes, we just, I'll take that. That can,
Not that it
I
matters.
mean,
Oh,
but
he's as old as Barry Cox.
I am now.
manpower becomes an issue.
oh, yeah. Nice people are born in September, for the most
You
part.
also have,
Well, most of us anyways.
Most.
When you get past a certain point, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Right, well, yes.
Only thing I
I mean, 65, I guess. When you get to 65, or depending on some stores' senior discounts, what those ages are.
What made me think,
Except I won't join AARP. My husband does, but I won't.
just
I'm not kidding. I'm not. I don't care. I'm not doing it. It's really not because of the age. I've never minded. I've never cared about the age. It is never bothered me.
I guess I'm.
I joke about it.
Just a
but
number.
It really
As
hasn't.
account activities
Just a number.
for the fund. Well,
You don't have to join AARP to get senior discounts.
You can guess why I
so
don't.
then I tried running the report that
Starting over.
conference report by account fund, and I ran it for that whole fund, and there's nothing that
So if
comes
they take a
up.
deep breath and move forward. what
So it's just aggravating.
So that's why I was wondering about. There's gotta be more.
I even went into
after you complained, I went down and pound stomped the
5, 6
whole
hours.
freaking thing.
and I
Make a habit of it, but get something done.
it's like if I look at all
Yeah.
my funds, like I made it
But I went through
Well, I
that
couldn't do
at
this one because
like to say when.
Stoughton a couple years ago. They had to replace what I
If I
had.
do, it's the.
$6.25 a year better than what I had years ago.
we're always working. We're just always.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Commissioner Miller, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the weather we've been having. And we just thank you for tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to meet for the purpose of the betterment of Sturgis and all of its residents. We pray for Sturgis, we pray for its good, and we pray that we might be a part of that. Lord, we take time to be thankful. Thank you for all the things that we have in this city that we most of the time take for granted. Instead of being ungrateful, we choose to be grateful and acknowledge the things that we're blessed with in this community, not the least of which is our wonderful city staff that oftentimes unseen help make this city run. Pray for them as they do their jobs each and every day, that they would do it well to serve those who they're there to serve. And may we do the same as this commission body. In Jesus' name, amen.
Roll call, City Clerk.
Commissioner Mullins,
I am present.
Commissioner Boring,
Here.
Commissioner Wiki, Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Harrington,
Here,
Commissioner Abs,
Here,
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Vice Mayor Burr,
Here.
Mayor Perez.
Here. Okay, moving on with the agenda, we got proclamations and presentations. Tonight, we got quarterly financials, Ms. Holly Kaiser and Ms. Sadie Griffin. Welcome.
And I want to introduce Sadie Griffin to the whole commission. It's our new city controller. Got controller times 2 tonight. Yeah.
Microphone's close to the
Microphone.
mouth. It's the only way to do it.
Radio check.
Gotta
Okay,
speak
we're
right
on.
into the
Like
mic.
that,
Gotta be ready.
Just get it as close as you can, Holly.
close as I can. How's that, Barry?
Because
That
we're
better?
now on the air.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Okay, so the third quarter financial review is presented tonight, which reflects the completion of 3/4 of the fiscal year, or 75% of the budget. Gave you some information about the cash receipts and disbursements for the quarter, which are comparable to the previous year. In the general fund, the revenue is a bit higher overall than the prior year, but it is on track with the budget. Revenue in the general fund, one item that is grant revenue. We've got some outstanding grant revenue related to the parking lot projects, which we haven't received yet, so those are still outstanding. Most of the functional areas are within the target of 75% for the quarter, except for brush and leaf pickup, which is tracking higher than the previous year as we've done more work out at the compost site this year and storm cleanup. Capital outlay in the general fund includes the downtown parking lot project is the main item there, and the weather siren also is included in the capital outlay for this quarter. On the street funds, the major and local street funds are currently running below budget due to the deferment of the resurfacing projects that have been pushed to the fall, which in the next budget year. I'm sure you've all noticed around town, though, that we have the St. Joseph project is well underway. Cemetery lot sales for this quarter, or for the year to date, are running actually 144% of the budget on lot sales. So that is one good thing on the cemetery fund. In the airport fund, we will be bringing a budget amendment to you next meeting, but in particular, in the airport fund, we have to do a budget amendment to reflect the miscellaneous income, which was from the insurance coverage for the lighting damage that would happen last year. That project is complete, as well as the taxi lane rehab and striping, which were included in capital outlay this year. The building fund permits are $110,000 year to date, compared to the budget of $100,000 through June. And the expenditures are 73.8% of the budget, so that is within 75%. The housing fund, one item worth noting in this quarter was the sale of 805 North Nottawa Street to the Sturgis Neighborhood Program. That was closed. The Sturgis Young Center for the Arts, they have a net loss for the quarter of $64,000 compared to $92,000 last year. At this time, it's partly due in part from timing transfers for capital reserve and road to restoration funding. I think we've had a lot of capital outlay projects going on there, including the outdoor lighting, the new boilers, the AV upgrades, And then the lower level restroom project is currently well underway. Is scheduled actually to maybe be done yet this week. And so we have some timing on the grant fund request from the foundation that's coming through. The recreation revenue is tracking well with the budget. Year-to-date is a positive 26,000 through June. Spence concessions are 21,721 through June compared to a budget of 25. And this includes the youth and adult recreation programs at Spence, Wall School, and the Doyle. The Doyle Center Fund is the membership revenue combined with Silver Sneakers, because both of those really reflect membership activity, is less than last year by about 24,000. The Doyle Board, I know, is continuing to look for ways to improve membership and revenue possibilities. Fee changes you just approved last month will actually go into effect, obviously, next budget year. The expenditures exceed revenues by 92,000 compared to 99 last year. As we discussed during the budget process, we're going to be recommending an additional transfer from the general fund that'll be needed this year yet to keep their fund balance positive. Ambulance fund, we had billed claims that are exceeding the budgeted estimates. They are 1,070 compared to 1,050 last year. We have revenue actually exceeding expenses in the ambulance fund so far year to date, and maintaining a positive cash balance. I think we have some significant expenditures coming up, I think, with having more medics in our work pool, as well as additional for, we've got people that are getting married and having babies. So going to be some changes coming forward for that. In the electric fund, total energy consumption was up 2% over the prior year, with revenue actually up 6.3%, due in part to the overall rate increase. The budgeted expanded line clearance project is complete, which was funded partially by a grant. We have not received the grant funds yet for that, though. Design for state line substations in process, as well as design for the Sturgis Electric Center. Overall expenses are 68% of the budget, compared to last year, a little bit higher than that. Sewer fund revenue was up 4%, due in part to the rate increase and a small uptick in consumption. And the Main Street project is complete. East Lafayette Utility Extension is nearly complete. And the Michigan Street Lift Station Improvement Project is well underway, as I'm sure you're aware as you drive, if you drive or walk in that particular area. The water fund, this is a little bit encouraging this year. The gallons billed are up 3.2%, maybe due in part by the splash pad, not sure. But definitely, we do have a net income reported. I did say 584 on here. However, in the detail sheet, part of that 584 is actually transferring in from the bond fund to cover the St. Joseph project improvements. So it's really more like 200, and that's tracking with 195 from the previous year. So that is really, we gave you an investment balance report, as well as individual further details further back in the report. I don't think there was anything else I was going to point out. You guys are making me sneeze. I know, I'm like, where'd this coming from? Yeah, I think the Doyle Center was the only one I was going to mainly highlight. So we're going to keep working on the financial report format and come up with ways to keep bringing you guys current and accurate information. So do you have any questions? Or?
Any questions for Hal? Or Sadie?
Yeah. Yeah, Sadie, all the time.
All right, thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
Moving on to the visitor section. If there's a visitor here that would like to make a public comment for items not listed on the agenda, please step forward to the podium. I see none. Moving on to the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
So we have motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to unfinished business, and there's none. Moving on to new business, we'll start with the audit RFP. Ms. Holly Kaiser and Sadie Griffin.
Thank you, Mayor, City Commissioners. So under the purchasing policy, professional services are not required to be competitively bid every time, but we go through processes for RFP to keep those items current. The last time that we did an RFP for audit services was in 2019, and at that time, Gaybridge and Company was selected for 3 years. They had a local connection, if you recall. They were affiliated with Norman and Paulson. They currently do not have a local affiliation at this time. So that wasn't really a consideration. So we sent out a request for proposal, actually for 5 years of professional auditing services via the BidNet platform. We had 3 firms that replied to the RFP. We conducted interviews. Sadie and I did. I was going to bring this last time, but it was like, with the new city controller, she probably ought to weigh in on this process. So it was a good process for us to do together. We interviewed the 3 firms. We reviewed all the proposals. Really, all 3 of them would be qualified to do the city audit, but one of them really we feel raised to the top of our process, as well as coming in with fees that were lower for the 5 years. One of the firms didn't provide all 5 years worth of fees. So based on the interviews that we did, as well as the comparing of the fees and looking for ways to save costs, we are recommending actually that we are recommending Manor Casterison, based on their qualifications and their fee proposal. They have experience auditing over 20-plus cities. One significant factor for us during the interview process was whether they had experience with an electric utility. A lot of cities have water, most cities have water and sewer, but not all cities have electric. And we really were trying to choose a firm that had experience with that. So that was one reason why we chose them as well. They've had good peer reviews and no other issues. So it's always a little bit scary to change auditors, because you got to it's a new process. They're going to ask new questions, but it's also a good process and a good change. We've been with Norman and Paulson / Gaybridge for many years, so always good to get a new look.
So Holly, no one in the city could do this?
No.
Gotcha.
Mm-mm. Well, no one in the city replied to the proposal either.
Is the reason why we're going 5 years instead of the customary 3?
We've been doing 5 years on a lot of our RFPs for like engineering services and that type of thing, so just did 5. No, not for the audit.
What is it that makes them so much better than Clark Schaefer, even though Clark Schaefer only did a 3-year? They're still considerably cheaper.
Well, they didn't have any experience with they didn't have experience with electric, with municipal electric, and then the other factor for them was they didn't always have good peer review.
Okay.
They had one. I didn't research it to see what it was, but they did have one indication where they had a reportable conflict or something like that that had to be addressed. But
Holly, correct me if I'm wrong, with the fees, they didn't necessarily indicate whether that included a single audit should the need arise.
correct.
So their fees might have been a little bit artificially low because both other groups included the cost of a single audit in their not to exceed fee amount. Should we need
okay.
that in a year?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, I understand.
That's good to know.
yeah.
Still not real happy with the 5.5% annual increase throughout the 5-year term.
And that is a not to exceed max, and it does include all the fees, so it includes like the single audit fee or is in that price, and that wouldn't change, or that would be lower if you didn't need a single audit. You only need the single audit if you have the federal program's expenditures over $1 million, which we don't always, we have it this year, we had it last year, but we won't have it this year, for example. But I do agree, there is still an annual increase.
So theirs will come in less than the annual numbers we're seeing if we don't use that single audit?
Right, this was a maximum fee that included the single audit, whether or not you had to have that or not.
Any other questions for Holly and Sadie?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the audit proposal from Maynard Casterasan for the 5 fiscal years ending September 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029 in an amount not to exceed $273,500 as presented, and authorize the city controller to sign all necessary documents.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Sturgis Young Marketing Contract. Ms. Cheney? Welcome tonight.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I did my employee evaluations right before here, so I started off with really some fun employees and giving them all the good, fun news of all their busy stuff coming up. So I appreciate you guys having me. As you guys can see, we are at the renewal period of our marketing contract with Focal Point, and yeah, it's just for another year. I know the first time we brought it, it was in 18 months to get us to our fiscal year of October 1 of start date. We renewed it for 1 year last year, and we're doing another year this year. Made a few tweaks, nothing too crazy, just kind of reread. I never read as much as I read a contract to understand all these words, but yeah, so we did a little changing and renewed for the year with no change in cost or monthly fee this year. So something different this year. We're doing geofencing, as you can see in the report, and that's something that we can actually get some numbers out of that, a lot more than what we have in the past. So we're doing some different forms of marketing. We can branch out a little bit more, and we actually have a lot more rental ideas on how to market the facility. As crazy as it seems, I know you guys see me there all the time, but there's always an extra day in the week we could rent that facility out. So that's what we're moving forward to this year. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Any questions for Jamie? I just have one. Does city
Sure.
attorney review the contract?
I looked at, I mean, it was in the packet, so I was able to
Okay.
review the packet. It's the same.
And it was the same as last year.
Oh,
which you
okay, okay.
reviewed, So.
All right.
Yep, we changed some dates, and then, yeah, I just read it just for funsies, like multiple days. I read it for funsies. There was this cool thing that could compare the contracts after I read it. I did not do that option, but yeah, so it took me a little bit of time to read it and kind of digest it and speak that way. But once I got it and sent it over to Andrew, we double checked it, make sure that we were happy with the dates and make sure everything lined up. So we left everything relatively the same.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the renewal of the professional services agreement with Focal Point from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026 with a $5,000 monthly retainer fee as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Hopefully you guys all got your postcard.
Next on the agenda is the MPPA Retail Emergency Improvement Program Project. Mr.
Good
Chris
evening.
MacArthur, welcome.
On June 6th, the commission voted to participate in the MPPA Energy Waste Reduction Program, and that's to meet our obligations under Public Act 229 of 2023, known as the Clean and Renewable Energy and Waste Reduction Act. Following feedback on participation from members of MPPA on August 13th, the board passed a resolution formally creating the Retail Energy Improvement Program project. This moves forward the creation of a program that meets the requirements of Public Act 229 and provides cost-effective administration and implementation of that project. Included in your packet is a scope of services outlining the programs that will be in effect under the new agreement. These programs are similar to those that Franklin Energy already provides under our current agreement. Total costs for this program are included in the 2026 through 2029 EWR plan document. That is also included in your packet. For 2026, the cost is $567,343. We did budget $500,000. Part of the reason why we didn't get the full 567 is just we didn't have the numbers in time for the budget. These just came to us a couple of weeks ago, so we'll make those adjustments next year in the budget. Subsequent years are listed between $533,000 and $539,000. For our inclusion in the program and this participation agreement to be effective, the City Commission must pass a resolution or other documentation authorizing the approval of this participation agreement. And I also request another motion, if possible, to approve the 2026 through 2029 EWR plan. That is a requirement of the state law. We have to send that to the Michigan Public Service Commission, just saying that we approved it. That plan is that sheet with all the numbers on it, with all the prices. That is the actual energy plan.
So two motions?
If I could, yes. I forgot to include that in here.
Okay. Any questions for Chris?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve participation in the MPPA Retail Energy Improvement Program project and authorize City Manager Andrew Cook to sign the participation agreement as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
And Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the 2026-2029 EWR plan document that was included in the packet and whatever numbers are attached to it.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
I want to see that motion read that way in the minutes, and whatever numbers came with it.
There you go.
I want to see it written that way.
Moving on with the agenda, we got the general shut-off rules update. Welcome back, Chris.
Along with the many changes that our government made in the past few years in order to comply with Public Act 168 of 2024 and Public Act 169 of 2024. This is, in essence, the Act 95 opt-in rules that we discussed earlier in the year. The city needs to revise the current general shut-off rules. Currently, the rule reads, or current rules read, in compliance with Public Act 95 of 2013, the city shall not shut off service to a customer during the heating season for non-payment of a delinquent account. Since the city is now opting in, the opt-in rules allow us to shut off during this season. As a result, this section of the rules and coordinating sections are being removed. We did provide a red line copy that was in your packet. So I don't know if there's any
Question for you. So now we're going to be shutting people off?
We can shut off in the wintertime during heating season for non-payment. And that is because, well, of the new law, but because we opted into the program, so now that's that $1.25, I believe it is, per meter, per month.
$1.25 this year.
Yes, that we will be collecting from customers and sending to the state of Michigan. This funds their program in order to provide energy or heating assistance to those in need. It's for electric any type of heating resource as well, whether it be wood, propane, gas, or whatnot, so,
When does this take effect?
October 1st.
October 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, bills are going out right now with that charge.
So,
Okay.
just to be clear, they changed the state law on us. Previously, we were able to opt out,
Correct.
and they basically, there still is an opt-out provision, but
There's
it's.
an opt-out, but we have to run our own program at that point, so it's really the
I
same
remember
thing. It's whether
discussing
you
this.
participate
Right.
in
So
state
it's not-
program or we run
Yeah.
our own program.
It's not, you can no longer opt out and just say we're not shutting off to satisfy the needs of the program. You either have to collect it and run the program ourselves for energy assistance, or we have to do what we did, which was opt into the state program. So previously, we had the option to just say, we're not gonna shut off during these months, and they're like, fine, you don't have to collect anything or contribute anything to an energy assistance program. They essentially took that option away from us, which is why we're doing this now.
So if we were to collect the $1.25 per customer, if we were to run our own program, we would collect X amount of dollars based on the number of customers, right?
Correct.
Is that number, did we talk about that before when we were talking about this, that number is equal to what the state allows us to spend for helping our citizens? Say if we ran the program ourselves and we raised $300,000
We
from the
would raise the-
$1.25 per
Right.
meter.
Right.
Is that equal to what now that we're in the state's
Yeah,
program,
so we are
do we get that
contributing-
amount, or is it not limited? in the
We are
amount?
contributing that amount to the state's program. Theoretically, residents from the city of Sturgis could ask for money that would exceed that. They
Okay, so
can,
there's
they
no
can
cap
ask for
based
any
on our
assistance.
electric-
There's no cap on what a resident can ask for from the state program. Obviously, if we had it in-house, we'd be limited in the pool of funds that we could issue out. We would also have all the administrative burden of
Right.
managing such a program.
No,
So-
I'm not saying that, I'm just asking if there is a cap that our citizens could get. I mean, if we would have collected a certain amount, can our citizens request an amount that's higher than what we would have generated?
There, no,
It's not
that,
city
that
by
doesn't
city,
come
it's
into
just
play,
a
and there's
total
probably a cap for a individual,
Yeah.
but there isn't a cap for Sturgis.
But there is also the chance that it could run out and some people that ask for assistance don't get it too?
And that happens in the current,
All the
in
time.
all the current
Right.
programs, that they have a limited amount of funds, and when those funds are expended, they're gone.
Okay.
This program by Sturgis and many other municipalities now participating has increased the program funds.
Sure.
So,
And if they do run out of funds, they'll raise the price next year.
Of course.
well, they are raising the price.
Yes.
It'll go to $1.50 next year and $1.75 the year after that.
Thank you.
I think there's a $2 cap in
Yeah,
the law.
at this-
that says
at
it
this
can't go
point.
any higher. Yeah, doesn't mean that won't change, so.
So, Chris, with this policy taking October 1st, does that mean we shut off the hospital for them not paying their electric bill?
I'll leave that up to you guys.
Well, that was my question, is allows
because
us
if
to
we're
shut
gonna
off,
be-
but who or how is that decision made?
We'll be looking at, just as we do during the summer months, and as we did many years ago, we'll be looking at what the weather's doing. If it's
And we usually
extreme weather-
contact the people responsible, and would we advise them if they don't know to go to the state program to do that?
Oh, yeah, we definitely,
I mean,
it's in our disconnect letter now.
Right.
And as people contact us, we reach out to them. 211 is a great resource that they are aware of all the programs, and so we direct them to where they can get assistance, and we encourage people to do that.
but they have to do it for themselves, we don't do it for them.
Right, absolutely.
Yep, okay,
They have to provide the documentation.
right, okay. So just because we're allowed to doesn't necessarily mean we're going to right away.
No, and I can tell you that, prior to Public Act 95 being instilled, we didn't shut off every week. We had the option to, we did not. And we'll take a look at it.
But come spring, they might be out of luck.
Well, what happened now is that we couldn't disconnect until April 15th, until after April 15th. And if someone wasn't disconnected and hadn't paid for that length of time, they had quite a bill built up.
For sure,
So.
okay.
I just find it hard to put a policy in place for hardworking citizens that sometimes can't pay their bill, and we have a hospital who hasn't paid for years. I happen to be a child that lived in a household where my parents worked, but sometimes the farmer wouldn't pay us, and I wouldn't have any heat. And I know we've been kicking this down the curb with the hospital, but we really need to start demanding they pay their bills.
And it's also based on need to the community too. If you shut off a hospital, that affects everybody in the community too. And that's part of the thought process of when do you and who do you do it to, right?
Going on 2 years,
Part of the
Commissioner
conversation.
Mullins, 2 years. I think we're beyond that right now.
If that's something the commission wishes to address at a future meeting and provide me clear direction on, I'll be happy to entertain it.
I'm just saying fair is fair, and it'll be 2 years next month. I mean, I don't think I'm out of line here. If we're gonna be shutting people off, let's be fair and treat everyone the same. That's just my 2 cents. I know it's a board of 9, but
Well, Andrew, for the benefit of everybody listening, do you mind explaining what you do with the hospital's property?
Sure, so
I think that's
we have
relevant.
talked to the hospital.
Very relevant.
Regarding their outstanding bills. Those that are in arrears more than 6 months, we've leaned against taxes. We continue to talk to them and work with them as far as addressing their utility payments going forward. Obviously, you know, to this point, we've chosen to work with the hospital in order to continue service there. If the commission wishes us to press the issue and shut off utility services going forward, that's something that we would entertain.
So one of the things that's different from consumers or AEP and municipal electric is that we do have the option to lien a property. That stays with the property. It takes a different position in any kind of rules or payments. So when a property is liened for past due utilities, we get a lot more protection. And those bills, they don't go away. And you don't have to send those to a collection service or anything like that. They get paid by the county, and the property is then, it's attached to the property. And so those need to be paid as all taxes are paid. And we can do that with owners of property. So it's a little different. And this program that we're talking about here only relates to residential. So businesses don't fall under this law.
So we do that to them currently?
Correct.
Okay.
All past due bills that are over 6 months, it's in our ordinance, get liened.
Okay.
Andrew, you sent us in our update packet today that we got 50,000 from the hospital, and we're looking at another 75 this week. That's 125. What's the balance after that?
I'd have to find do you have the,
It'll be about 800,000
now
after
that's,
that other payment.
that's liens and, or
No,
that's current?
That's everything that's outstanding, yeah.
Okay.
folks, what's right is right, wrong is wrong. But what's the wish of the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the revision of the general shut-off rules as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. So moved. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Newell Brands Access Request. Mr. Barry Cox.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. So Newell Brands is overseeing the EPA Superfund cleanup site for the original Kirsch properties for chlorinated compounds that are in the underground aquifer beneath the city. In fall of '23, the City Commission approved an easement for a well. Actually, they approved two, but Newell Brands only needed one because they didn't end up putting a well on the airport property. They did put a well on the Progress Street lift station, or Progress Street retention basin property. And so they've completed that easement agreement, and that's been recorded for everybody. But as part of what they did 2 years ago for Eagle, now they're being asked by Eagle to expand their investigative site to try to figure out why there seems to be a elevated area in the W-44 location that's in blue and white on the screen. So they are pulling in a little closer to that site to try to see what kind of concentrations they might find at those locations, to kind of get an idea of where it's coming from, because that's really the ultimate goal here, is to figure that out. So they recently approached us again, looking for the additional easements for additional soil borings to be done. Normally, when they do one, if they can fit one in the right-of-way, we do not require an easement for those, but anything on city property would require an easement for a long-term monitoring well. The sites that you have seen on here, B104, 105, 106, 107, and 109 are all possible locations for them to do a boring and then potentially put a monitoring well. The B104 and possibly B104, but definitely if they did a boring at B105 and decided to put a monitoring well there, they would need an easement for that. So tonight we're asking for you to allow them to move forward with the investigation, do the soil borings, identify where they need to have the monitoring wells, and then they will have a surveyor come in after the monitoring well is finished, write an easement to describe that area. Basically, it's been a 10-foot by 10-foot area, plus allowing access to that particular monitoring well. With that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have regarding this process or what they're trying to do.
Any questions for Barry?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve monitoring well easements and vehicular access to the monitoring well locations on city property as presented pending staff and city attorney review, and authorize city manager Andrew Cook to sign all necessary documents.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry. Moving on to commissioner and staff comments. Before I turn over to Ms. Holly and Sadie, I'd like to wish Mr. Mike Stiles, our very own DJ, a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Would you like us to sing?
Appreciate all that you do for the community with your radio talents.
Where's the cake?
Where's Andrew forgot to bring it.
Yeah.
Likes maple.
I'll take the hit.
Fire marshal wouldn't allow us with the candles.
Probably not.
Good one, that's amazing. Ms.
Yeah,
Holly?
thank you. I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Sadie?
I have nothing.
Okay. No
Nothing tonight.
speech, no nothing, first commission meeting? Speech, okay. Thank you. Mr. Rhodes?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Chris?
Yeah, a couple things. I mentioned the last meeting that I was at that you guys would be receiving a survey that should have came out yesterday to your email for MPPA.
Okay.
So that is a legit survey. I took it. It didn't take very long. I think it's only like 17 questions or something, so wasn't too bad. Also, just kind of going over a few items that I'll be bringing to you. You'll probably get tired of seeing me in the next couple months. But we'll be bringing the substation steel. That's out for bid right now. We'll be bringing that at the next September 24th meeting, along with the cable trench system for that state line substation. We plan to discuss the Sturgis Energy Center design, and maybe you're going to discuss this. I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder.
You're fine.
And have a work session on October 22nd is the plan. So
Okay.
just to update you on that. And then State Line Substation construction bid is out now, and we'll be receiving that back, or I'll be bringing that to you guys November 12th for the actual construction of that substation. So with that, I hope to also have some numbers back on the southeast generation site, so adding that behind the meter generation as well, get you guys some numbers so we can start thinking about that and making a decision on how we move forward. Also, we'll be bringing to you a project that MPPA has been working on this year, along with us, a demand response program. And what that does is that's going to allow our customers to participate in a program that is through Voltus, a third-party contractor. But with that, it allows them to shed load and receive a payment for that. So if they sign up for this for participation in this program, depending on how much load they can shed during events, they'll get a certain amount of payback, and that's only at this point in time for our industrial and commercial customers if you guys approve it. So I'll be bringing that back to you later on this year as well. So just another tool in the tool bag. It's like a generator that you don't have to spend money on, right? If I can get you guys to shut down, or the community to curtail their load, then it saves us money in the end.
Gotcha.
So, or at least during those events. So more information to come.
Thank you, Chris. Barry, you have anything for us? I do got a couple questions for you. Can you give us an update on the projects? Lafayette, when will that be done? The one on Michigan and the St. Joe Street? If you would, please.
I'll go backward to forward, Mayor. So Michigan lift station, hopefully, and I don't say that because we have an issue with the control panel that we don't know whether or not we're going to get it in time to complete the project before winter. That one's supposed to be done before the end of November. As far as I know, it's on schedule, but it's not my project directly.
Okay.
So I'm involved, but I'm not.
It is on schedule. I talked to Tom and was going to have an update for you on that one. That project
Okay.
is on schedule, sans the panel that is delayed from when they originally projected that it would be delivered. So
Okay.
we don't know how that'll impact overall project update.
As far as East Lafayette, utility extension, all the underground work is complete. Pavement is back in. There's obviously not a whole lot of activity going on right there right now. One of the items that came up was that we needed to get a pavement shoulder on there, and that was not a bid item that was in the original project. And so it's taken a little while. As you may know, all the projects going on right now are all being done by Parish Excavating, so majority of that crew moved over to Michigan Lift Station to start that one. And so we've been trying to get some numbers to get the shoulder installed, signs put back up, and final restoration. I do not have a time frame for that at this particular point. And then on St. Joe, they had a revised schedule after they got completed with what they were doing on the east side of the railroad tracks. They are, to my knowledge, pretty much on that schedule. I expect by the end of this week, they will be complete with most of the underground utility installation, and will begin. They have staking for curb and gutter. They'll undercut the road, start bringing the subgrade and aggregate base in to get curb and gutter and driveways and sidewalks installed at that point. So that's what I got.
Thank you for the update. I've been gone since Monday, so I had 3 post-it notes on my desk, so you're helping me out. Thank you. Anything from, is that you, Mr. Kreitz?
No.
Who? Oh, Kreitz. Anything from the men in blue? Okay. Anything from the media? TJ?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Cook?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In your packet, under news, I had included some information on Downtown Day. So this is initiative by the Michigan Downtown Association and the Governor's Office to celebrate business communities, downtown districts. This year it falls on September 27th. It happens to coincide with one of our many downtown events, Sturgis Barbecue Fest, as well as a Veterans Coffee and Cars activity that has been kind of taking place somewhat regularly. DDA asked me to provide that information to you. They're encouraging, city employees, commissioners to come down that day, take part in activities, be visible as part of that Downtown Day celebration. So wanted to mention that to you. Also, just a reminder for those who are attending, and also for the rest of the commission, MML convention is next week. So second half of the week, I'll be out of the office with attending commissioners up in Grand Rapids. Barry already got to the street and lift station project updates. Sturgis Young Center for the Arts project updates. So they've been working on the downstairs bathrooms. Holly had mentioned it in the third quarter fiscal report, but that's looking to be wrapped up by this Friday. There'll be some, according to the facilities manager, there'll be some that I would say substantially complete by Friday. There's going to be some trailing things, but most of the visible work will be done by Friday. So got an update on that, and then I just wanted to note budgets for the city commission for next fiscal year. I'll have those for you at the next meeting. So our capital budgets for the next fiscal year.
Great.
That's all I have for the moment.
Thank you. Commissioner Harrington, welcome back.
Thank you. No, nothing for me.
Commissioner Abs?
Just that I continue to receive emails and one knock at the door regarding recycling. I think that there's a campaign in my immediate neighborhood about recycling, and it continues not over. So, and I guess lastly, plug for Oak Crest Solutions for doing over at Sturgis Young, the back wall. It's never been like blacked out like we'd like it. Oak Crest came over, patched the wall, did it all black, even 1 day, 2 days, I guess. And it's awesome. So now we have a black backdrop thanks to them. We did it all.
Nice.
So this is on the stage for those.
Oh, on the stage.
Sorry,
Okay.
can't read my
Okay.
mind.
The back,
Yeah, the
the
backdrop
back wall.
there. And I mean, it was just mentioned, they're like, what can we do? And I continue to be, I guess I feel blessed that we live in a community that's so many. Corporate doesn't get a lot of kudos for some of that stuff, but I know in my prior career that they do. There are a lot of them that do a lot of behind the scenes work. So it's appreciated.
That's owned by a man who cares a lot about this community.
Exactly.
Well said. Commissioner Bourne?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Mullins?
Yeah, since Kathy brought up recycling, and I'm glad you did, but we've been talking a whole lot about this, and everybody's, I mean, it's all the scuttlebutt around town for sure. I have had a partial change of heart, I think, and I want to maybe suggest something that we might want to consider. The recycling program, as it stands, will end December 31st, right?
Correct.
The end of the year. In order to make it go further, we would have to pony up some money as a city.
Correct.
No matter what, if we don't do that, there's going to be an interruption in service because we're talking about potentially putting it on a ballot for the people to vote for, or otherwise doing something different, but there will be a gap, no matter
Correct.
what we do at this
Correct.
point in time.
I thought about that, actually.
I guess, I thought about the money aspect of it, and, we were going to be short $150,000 or so if we were to have to pay for it as a city.
That would be for the entire year.
For the entire year, yes.
Correct.
I'm wondering, I was totally against, spending additional money for it, but I was thinking of that more into perpetuity, not just, but I'm thinking for 1 year to not have any interruption. Should we consider ponying up the 150 for 1 more year until December 31st of 2026, thereby allowing us to take it to the ballot or whatever means that we choose to do for 2027 and beyond, is that too much of an expenditure for us to consider for a one-year process to have zero interruption to recycling, provided the people of our city choose to want to pay the extra in years 2027 and beyond?
So I think that's a fine question for the commission to ask themselves in terms of budget. I would say that we would need to confirm that Borden would be willing to hold the pricing that we received in our bid for 1 year versus
Sure.
3, because we couldn't commit to all 3.
Or a lesser pricing would be nice too.
Well, and
Just
then-
in
Always-
case they would be willing. if they-
Always would be nice,
But
yes.
it doesn't give Andrew
So,
direction to look to a
I mean-
solutions.
We're gonna talk about it
We
eventually.
So
are,
I-
but I'm just
Yes,
wondering
I
if this
thought-
might
Yeah.
give us a Band-Aid to
Right.
have
So,
time to
so
really consider those
I've
things.
already had direction from the commission to bring this back with alternatives. I think that discussion would be pertinent to have at that. My plan is to bring that back at next city commission meeting to have that discussion. So I would say that would be a topic of conversation if you wish to move forward at that point.
I think
Was that
if
one of the
you're-
options that you were,
Yeah, I mean, if we were
Potentially-
planning on putting it on the ballot, that would have been a question I would have raised to the commission, because we would have had to, because otherwise you're gonna have a weird gap in service and people are gonna have to give away their carts and then get them back. It wouldn't have made any sense, I don't think, to go to the ballot without filling that 1-year gap in some form or fashion. But there's also a cost involved.
and if you're
So
talking about
that
the
would be
next
a-
commission meeting, I will not be here, but I would certainly be in support of supporting the program for 1 year, provided
Find
it's
something
understood that it's a 1-year thing to eliminate any kind of interruption that we might have.
Okay.
If they'll even do it for 1 year, because it was a
Right.
three-year bid and a 3-year contract.
I mean,
Right.
they'll do it for 1 year for some price. I
Right.
just don't know if it'll be the price that they bid. But, they will absolutely do a 1-year
Yeah,
contract.
and keep in
with
mind,
us,
they do have all the bins out there, so.
Yeah, they got 'em
but
on.
I have
I
a
have no
feeling
doubt
they will, I have a
we
feeling
can
they
talk
will.
I think
to-
they'd
they'd
want
be
to work
willing
with
to
it,
it.
yeah, for sure.
I'd be surprised, I guess, if they
Correct.
didn't do it at the 6.
Yeah.
Correct.
You
Yeah,
know,
but they
but-
also know they're the only game in town.
They
Never
knew
said-
that
They
when they
knew
bid it,
that when
too.
they gave us the $6
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
3 bid.
So,
So, I, much like Ken, I would not be shocked, but I cannot say it today that they would hold that price for 1 year, so.
Because it is a new company. It isn't Borden per se anymore.
No, Borden,
Right.
it's still
But they are,
Borden.
someone else is also involved in it now. The
Mhm.
Borden was sold to somebody.
no,
Oh,
that was
they-
Michiana
You're
got
thinking
sold to
of
LRS.
in it.
Michiana
LSR,
used to do
unless-
recycling.
Yes.
They
No,
don't anymore.
I thought it was when I called when I called Borden's.
Now, maybe
The woman
they've
I
sold-
was talking
they
to
could have
was saying
sold too.
that- yeah.
I don't know that, but.
But
Yeah, we have LRS at work.
I
Yeah.
think my only comment on that, Commissioner Mullins, is where are you gonna get the 150? Because you gotta cut somewhere to be able to make this up.
We
the
would
budget's
have
already
to-
set,
Well,
it's
it would
already
more
been
than likely
approved.
be some kind of a budget amendment that we'd have to consider,
Now,
I mean-
hopefully, not an increase, hopefully, but, you know,
an increase.
yeah. Hopefully, you're not proposing an increase
An increase to what, I'm sorry?
to take away from our reserves or whatnot. Hopefully, you're proposing somewhere to cut to get the 150 to be able to.
Well, no,
to
that's in the
front
budget
this.
process, but that's what an amendment would be for, to amend the budget. That's what I'm talking about, not going back to the budget and redoing the whole budget because of $150,000. But,
Gotcha.
I mean, we do budget amendments for certain things, and I figure that this thing is an important thing, and,
Not for
you know, without interruption
150,000.
for our citizens and all that kind of stuff. But it's just that's just an idea.
I've wondered the same thing. I mean, I've wondered, like, how do we, thinking about that gap myself. I don't know. I guess we'll wait
Yeah.
until next
Well, you
meeting.
can't say, well, if we're gonna
Right,
spend
you can't-
150, we gotta cut it out of somebody's,
I've wondered-
somewhere here out of, trade and tit for tat out of.
When
the
you're
budget.
fiscal
Well, I-
responsible,
It'd have
you
to be
What
do.
I'm saying
amendment
is,
for sure, yeah.
I've wondered the same thing that you said.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
that's a
know.
discussion we'd have to have, for sure.
I think when you're fiscal responsible, you do. You just can't say, give us 151. I mean, we have a budget, it's been approved. 150,000 is 150,000. It's easy to say that when it's not your own money. It's
I'm not saying,
taxpayer
I
money.
never said it was easy.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's easy at all. All I'm
But
making
it's
is
the gap.
a suggestion here.
We're
This is
hearing a
the-
lot of
the
people,
gap.
we don't know.
Okay.
If we go to a vote, what he's saying is, It'd be awful to have a gap.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make
No.
an
No, I
argument
didn't
with
think
anybody.
that's
I'm
No,
just
no, I'm
making
not
a
arguing
suggestion.
either. I'm not arguing either.
I think it'd be beneficial to the community as a whole to continue this without interruption for us and for Borden, I guess. They don't have to come around and
So-
collect and then come passing back out again.
Obviously, if it did go to a vote of the people and it was rejected, then it would,
Let it
be
drag.
moot and
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a gap, it would just end.
Right.
We have a lot to understand about a ballot proposal and how that would work, but potentially, those funds could be recouped. But again, I don't want to tell you all the machinations of how everything would work, but you could word a ballot proposal to possibly recoup some of that
Yeah.
money
I
that would
think-
be expended in
Sure, yeah, the
2026.
options are wide
I mean,
open.
I think
don't have
we're
all
pro-
the answers. I'm just making a suggestion, that's all.
We're premature to have these discussions without talking about the
Look what you
options that we have and the options that the commission wishes to move
No, you're
forward
right.
with. So I think at the next meeting, we can have that discussion.
Anything else, Commissioner Mullins?
Well, other than I will not be here at the next meeting, I told you that, and if we discuss the recycling, I'd like that to be my opinion on the matter during that conversation, I suppose. But yes, I will be 2 weeks from yesterday, September 23rd, I will be happily married at that point in time and taking off on the 24th for our honeymoon, so I will not be here next week, or the next meeting, so I'm very happy to not be here for that. And last but not least, I found a explanation of kindness by one person. They said that kindness is loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weaknesses. And I just want to make my biweekly reminder to let's all be kind to one another. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Mill?
For me, I was gonna, while taking out my recycling toter, which is when you get ideas concerning recycling,
Tonight.
just so happens. Yeah, it needs to be tonight, for me. I thought of, was one of the options going to be, can we work with Borden on some stopgap measure? I started to think of all the toters too, that they were gonna be picking up, and I thought, could Andrew work something out? And I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, that was gonna be one of my ideas at some point. But I look forward to next meeting, that'll be fun. Spirit.
If it doesn't, I think I'm going to hide mine because I also use it for leaves to push them in and tow them out to the curb. So.
Commissioner Smith?
Tomorrow is No News is Good News Day. And piggybacking on that, it is also Patriot Day. On September 11th, 2001, I think we all wish there was no news that day.
Amen.
So just remember, bury your head in the sand after you put your flag down to half-mast. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith? Vice Mayor Brooks?
Yeah, Amy, could we get a report every couple, 2 or 3 months maybe about how our remediation is going with the water lines? How we sit as far as,
Sure.
how many?
Lead service stuff? Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Just a couple things. I know I'm going to shock my Michigan friends, but Michigan football friends, but that freshman quarterback, looks pretty good. Tough loss, but I think Michigan's onto something there. Anyways, I hope all of you. Oh, one more thing. I know Commissioner Mullins constantly reminds us to be kind with one another. I'm going to up the ante a little bit because this past Saturday I spent 12 hours with Commissioner Abs. We went to a volleyball game together, and surprisingly, we still talk after that day. But Commissioner Abs, if you think she asks questions here, she can talk.
Wait a second.
But city attorney, we didn't talk city stuff, so we were, okay, well, we did it. We were just talking.
No quorum, you're good.
We both said, we're going to leave about, noon, 1 o'clock. Well, what time did we leave, Kathy? 5:30? 6?
Or later, yeah.
Yeah.
We kept winning then.
Yeah, she dropped me off 4 minutes before we hit the 12-hour mark. So if you can, take a trip with a fellow commissioner. I encourage you to do so. It is very nice to hear and just have a general conversation without talking city stuff. I know at times we agree to disagree, but just having a candid conversation for 12 hours was great. Thank you for
I'll bring you the
inviting
books
me
for
and
you.
picking me up and taking me. So I really appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. But I hope all of you have a good work week, and welcome, Sadie, to the commission. Hopefully we didn't scare you away, and appreciate everything you guys do. Meeting adjourned.
Sounds like you were the one exercising.